course it would be raining. Do stop grumbling, Ed. 10 to 1 it will clear up in an hour or so. And in the meantime, we're pretty well off. There's a wireless and lots of books.
A wireless and lots of books? I thought we said last night we were exploring today.
Once there were 4 children whose names were Peter, Susan, Edmund, and Lucy. This story is about something that happened to them when they were sent away from London during the war because of the air raids.
I want to see the woods.
They were sent to the house of an old professor who lived in the heart of the country. He had no wife, and he lived in a very large house with a housekeeper called Mrs. Macready and 3 servants.
But you won't see any of those things today.
The children had imagined the splendid time they would have here. However, on this, their first morning, there was a steady rain falling.
Well, it's going to take more than a little rain to stop me from exploring.
What do you mean, Peter?
I'm going to explore the house.
The house? We can't do that, can we?
Look, this is the sort of house where no one's going to mind what we do. Anyway, they won't hear us. It's about 10 minutes walk from here down to that dining room, and any amount of stairs and passages in between.
Let's go, come on.
Yeah, come on, in
And
here.
that was how the adventures began. It was the sort of house that you never seemed to come to the end of, and it was full of unexpected places. The first few doors they tried led only into spare bedrooms, but soon they came to a very long room full of pictures, and there they found a suit of armour. And after that was a room all hung with green, with a harp in one corner. And then came 3 steps down and 5 steps up, and then a kind of little upstairs hall, and a door that led out onto a balcony, and then a whole series of rooms that led into each other and were lined with books. And shortly after that, they looked into a room that was quite empty, except for one big wardrobe, the sort that has a looking glass in the door.
Nothing in here.
Oh, I want to look in that wardrobe.
Look if you want, but we're going on.
Come on, let's go down here.
No, I want to go down here. Make up your minds. But it's such a lovely wardrobe. I wonder if it's locked. It isn't. Oh, fur coats. I love fur coats.
There was nothing Lucy liked so much as the smell and feel of fur. She immediately stepped into the wardrobe and got in among the coats and rubbed her face against them, leaving the door open, of course, because she knew that it was very foolish to shut oneself up into any wardrobe. Soon she went further in and found
Oh, there's a second row of coats.
it was almost quite dark in there, and she kept her arms stretched out in front of her so as not to bump her face into the back of the wardrobe. She took a step further in, then 2 or 3 steps, always expecting to feel woodwork against the tips of her fingers, but she didn't.
This must be a simply enormous wardrobe. What is that? Mothballs? It feels cold. This is very strange. Ouch!
Lucy was no longer rubbing her face against soft fur, but against something hard and rough and even prickly.
It feels like branches of trees.
And then she saw that there was a light ahead of her, not a few inches away where the back of the wardrobe ought to have been, but a long way off. Something cold and soft was falling on her. A moment later she found that she was standing in the middle of a wood at night time with snow under her feet and snowflakes falling through the air.
What? These are trees. Am I in a wood? But it doesn't make sense. I can see the wardrobe back through the trees, even the daylight of the room. Shall I go forward? I can always get back if anything goes wrong. I do wonder what that light is.
In about 10 minutes, she reached the source of the light.
It's a lamppost. I wonder why there's a lamppost in the middle of a wood.
Lucy saw that a very strange person had stepped out from among the trees into the light of the lamppost. He was only a little taller than Lucy herself, and he carried over his head an umbrella, white with snow, and his arms were full of packages. From the waist upwards, he was like a man, but his legs were shaped like a goat's, and the hair on them was glossy black. He was a fawn.
Oh my!
Oh, goodness gracious me!
Oh, I'm so sorry. I made you drop your parcel.
No, it's all right. No, don't bother. No, it's my fault entirely. I was startled to see. Now, I don't mean to be inquisitive, but should I be right in thinking that you are a daughter of Eve?
My name's Lucy, if that's what you mean.
Oh, but you are, forgive me, you are what they call a girl?
Of course I'm a girl.
You are, in fact, human.
Of course I'm human. Are you human?
Oh, no, please. I am a fawn.
Oh,
I've never seen a son of Adam or a daughter of Eve before. I'm delighted. That is to say, I'm delighted. Delighted. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tumnus.
very pleased to meet you, Mr. Tumnus.
And may I ask, oh, Lucy, daughter of Eve, how you have come into Narnia?
Narnia? What's that?
Well, this is the land of Narnia, where we are now. All that lies between the lamppost and the great castle of Cair Paravel on the eastern sea. And you have come from the wild woods of the west?
I got in through the wardrobe in the spare room.
Oh, if only I'd worked harder at geography when I was a little fawn, I should doubtless know all about those strange countries.
But they aren't countries at all. It's only just back there. At least, I'm not sure. It's summer there.
Ah, meanwhile, it's winter in Narnia, and it has been for ever so long, and we shall both catch cold if we stand here talking in the snow. Daughter of Eve, from the far land of Spare where eternal summer reigns around the bright city of Wardrobe, how would it be if you came and had tea with me?
Thank you very much, Mr. Tumnus. But I really should be getting back.
Oh, but it's only just around the corner, and there will be a roaring fire, and toast, and sardines, and cake.
Well, that's very kind of you, but I shan't be able to stay long.
Oh, well, if you will take my arm, daughter of Eve, I shall be able to hold the umbrella over both of us. That's the way. And now, off we go. Lucy and the fawn had not gone far before they came to a place where the ground became rough and there were rocks all about and little hills up and little hills down. At the bottom of one small valley, Mr. Tumnus turned suddenly aside, as if he were going to walk into an unusually large rock, but at the last moment Lucy found he was leading her into the entrance of a cave. As soon as they were inside, she found herself blinking in the light of a wood fire. Now we shan't be long. I'll put the kettle on. Lucy thought she had never been in a nicer place. It was a little dry, clean cave of reddish stone with a carpet on the floor and two little chairs and a table and a dresser and a mantelpiece over the fire, and above that a picture of an old fawn with a grey beard. In one corner there was a door, which Lucy thought must lead to Mr. Tumnus's bedroom, and on one wall was a shelf full of books. Now, daughter of Eve, here is your tea. A lightly boiled egg, sardines on toast, buttered toast with honey, and then a sugar-topped cake.
Oh, thank you. I had no idea anyone lived in a forest like this.
Oh, is it dreary to you?
Dreary? Not at all.
Oh, it's dreary to me. It's been such a long time.
A long time since what?
Oh, since the days when we had midnight dances with the nymphs in the wells and the dryads who lived in the trees, or the long hunting parties after the milk-white stag who could give you wishes if you caught him, or
the wild red dwarfs in the deep mines and caverns far beneath the forest floor, who we would feast with and then go treasure seeking.
It sounds delightful.
Ah, the days of summer when the woods were green, and old Silenus on his fat donkey would come to visit us, and sometimes Bacchus himself, and then the streams would run with wine instead of water, and the whole forest would give itself up for jollification for weeks on end. Ah, there was a tune we used to play. Now, what was the tune? Oh, where's my pipe? Ah, here.
And the tune he played made Lucy want to cry and laugh and dance and go to sleep all at the same time. It must have been hours later. She shook herself and said,
Oh, Mr. Tumnus, I'm so sorry to stop you, and I do love that tune, but really, I must go home.
Oh,
I only meant to stay for a few minutes.
oh, it's no good now, you know.
No good? What do you mean? I've got to go home at once.
Oh,
The others will be wondering what's happened to me.
it's no good.
Mr. Tumnus, whatever is the matter? Why are you crying?
Oh, me?
Oh, please, Mr. Tumnus, don't cry.
But
What's the matter?
I'm...
Aren't you well? Here, take my handkerchief.
Oh, thank you.
Now do tell me what's wrong. Mr. Tumnus, please.
Oh, me, oh, me, oh, me.
Stop. Stop at once. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. A great big fawn like you. What on earth are you crying about?
Well, I'm crying because I'm such a bad fawn.
I don't think you're a bad fawn at all. I think you're a very good fawn. You're the nicest fawn I've ever met.
Oh, you wouldn't say that if you knew. Oh, no, I'm a bad fawn. I don't suppose there ever was a worse fawn since the beginning of the world.
But what have you done?
Oh, my old father, that's his picture over the fireplace. He never would have done a thing like this.
A thing like what?
Like what I've done. I've taken service under the White Witch. That's what I am. I'm in the pay of the White Witch.
Who's she?
Why, it's she that's got old Narnia under her thumb. It's she that makes it always winter. Always winter. And never Christmas. Think of that.
How awful.
Mm.
But what does she pay you for?
Oh, that's the worst of it. I'm a kidnapper for her. That's what I am. Look at me, daughter of Eve. Now, would you believe that I'm the sort of fawn to meet a poor, innocent child in the wood, one that never done me any harm, and pretend to be friendly with it and invite it home to my cave, all for the sake of lulling it to sleep and then handing it over to the White Witch?
No, I'm sure you wouldn't do anything of the sort.
Oh, but I have.
Well, that was pretty bad. But you're so sorry for it. I'm sure you would never do it again.
Oh, daughter of Eve, don't you understand? It isn't something I have done. I'm doing it now, this very moment.
You mean?
You are the child.
No.
I have orders from the White Witch that if ever I saw a son of Adam or a daughter of Eve in the wood, I was to catch them and hand them over to her. And you were the first I ever met. And I pretended to be your friend, and I asked you to tea, and all the time I've been meaning to wait till you were asleep and then go and tell her.
Oh, but you won't. Will you, Mr. Tumnus? Indeed you mustn't.
Well, if I don't, she's sure to find out, and she'll have my tail cut off, and my horns sawn off, and my beard plucked out, and she'll wave her hand over my beautiful cloven hoofs and turn them into horrid solid hoofs like a wretched horse's. And if she's extra and specially angry, she'll turn me into stone. And I shall be only a statue of a fawn in her horrible house until the 4 thrones at Cair Paravel are filled, and goodness knows when that'll happen, or whether it'll ever happen at all.
I'm very sorry, Mr. Tumnus, but please let me go home.
Oh, of course I will. Of course, I've got to. I see that now. I hadn't known what humans were like before I met you. Of course I can't give you up to the witch, not now that I know you. But we must be off at once. I'll see you back to the lamppost. I suppose you can find your own way from there back to Spare Room and Wardrobe.
I'm sure I can.
Well, we must go as quietly as we can. The whole wood is full of her spies. Even some of the trees are on her side. Quickly now.
The journey back was not at all like the journey to the Fawn's Cave. They stole along as quickly as they could without speaking a word, and Mr. Tumnus kept to the darkest places. Lucy was relieved when they reached the lamppost again.
Can you ever forgive me for what I meant to do?
Why, of course I can. And I do hope you won't get into dreadful trouble on my account.
Farewell, daughter of Eve. Perhaps I may keep the handkerchief?
Yes, of course.
Oh,
Goodbye.
Lucy ran towards the far-off patch of daylight through the trees in the distance. And presently, instead of rough branches brushing past her, she felt coats. And instead of crunching snow beneath her feet, she felt wooden boards. And all at once she found herself jumping out of the wardrobe into the same empty room from which the whole adventure had started.
I'm here! I'm here! I've come back! I'm all right!